Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is another video about changing something to something else. Yes, that makes sense. I'm painting something. So I was watching American Dad and they had this crazy episode. All of their episodes are crazy really, but this one was in particular very crazy. Now if you haven't seen this episode of American Dad, it's season 19 episode 10 and it's called Gold Top Nuts. It's so freaking hilarious. The whole episode revolves around the nuts and I just find that hilarious. More episodes like that please. Anyway, so I scoured thrift stores and none of them had the kind of can that I needed to make this DIY fandom thingy that I am doing now. But then I was doing laundry yesterday and my laundry powder were empty, like finally. And it has a gold lid and that's what I needed, and it has roughly the same size as I wanted. So I'm just gonna transform this. It's fine that it can't contain real nuts. That was my original plan, and it's fine that it's just gonna stand there empty because I don't even like that kind of nuts. Oh goodness, it's gonna be amazing. And I'm very excited to show you how I'm gonna do it. I have no idea how to do it, but I'm excited. Yes, yeah, that's it. So I start by filling up some warm water and soap to make the laundry powder label easier to remove. It did take a lot of hard work to remove that label. Sticky glue is not my friend. I do not enjoy removing sticky glue. I have to sand down the container, otherwise the paint won't stick to the plastic and then all the work would have been for nothing. It's a tricky thing sanding it down because the plastic is so thin. I don't want to sand all the way through, and I take some painter's tape to cover up the edges. Yes, they're not going to be blue, they're going to be gold. Now for all the reference photos I have seen online, the perfect blue for this container is actually the blue that I used on my bookcase wall. Isn't that a fun coincidence? And if it wasn't, I would have used that color anyway because I have a lot of that paint. Now wall paint dries in my experience faster than acrylic paint, so it was easier to get all the layers done than when I started working on the acrylic paint. Now while the container dried, I took the lid and sanded it down. I felt like it wasn't the right color of gold. Luckily I bought some metallic gold paint when I bought my glow-in-the-dark paint, you know, for my ghost dog I painted in the bedroom. It's just beautiful. Go watch that video if you haven't seen it yet. I gave the lid 3 layers of gold paint to shine. It was a completely different look. I wanted the edge to be gold, so therefore I have to remove the painter's tape. It went better than I hoped, but still with some touch up I needed to do later. The bottom of this container took a lot of work. It took me 8 layers to make it an even gold layer. Now for the label, I taped up 2 of the 3 colors of the background so it would be perfect lined up, and then doing the same thing with the 3rd color. Now painting the same color over the tape makes sure that the color that needs to go on there has a perfectly crisp line. It's so beautiful. Started with the yellow, and this needed more than 1 layer as well. As acrylic slows dry, I could paint both the colors at the same time. I ended up with 5 layers. 5 layers, that's a lot. And that's a lot of waiting too. Now I felt like I was ready to remove the tape, and the tape seemed determined to stick to the container and take the blue paint with it. What a tease. That was a fun process. This made me a little tired, but the tape did have to come off because I couldn't finish this if I didn't remove the tape. I took a step back at that moment after I've removed the tape, and then I watched an episode of Phineas and Ferb because I needed a fun break instead of this painter tape mishap that I was standing in front. That was not fun. It was actually very, very annoying. Now fixing it was easy because you just paint over. Just because the tape made some mishaps, I went another way with the middle color, and I just took a pencil and drew it on where I wanted the paint to go and not to go. Now this was easier than I thought it was, and I realized that I should have done that from the beginning. Now the metallic pink in the middle, it needed 8 layers. That was way longer than I wanted to be. Fixing the lines actually took the longest because, you know, with all the layer is needed, it was a hazard, but I did it as best as I could. That paint really did not want to stick. Even though I sanded the whole thing down. I think I should have sanded it with a tougher sandpaper. Now the red sticker, that was much easier to paint. That only needed 2 layers. The red paint is stronger than my metallic acrylic paints. But the gold line that it had, that needed 5 layers. That was bugging me because it had to be so tiny a line, and later I find out a much easier way to do it. That was a waste of time again, but I learn. It's just a learning process. I've never done this kind of art before, so I live and learn, and it's fun to learn, I think. Now to the letters. The letters are gold, of course, because gold top nuts. I love that word. So I started to draw up the letters, and then I actually looked back at the reference photos and see every single letter had a black outline. And then I had the most genius idea I have ever had on this project. Just paint all the letters black and then add gold on top of it so you can just see a crispy outline of the black color. And then I only needed 2 layers of gold paint. That was amazing. I mean, not to toot my own horn, but I'm tooting my own horn. I think that is amazingly brilliant. And I really hope I keep that in mind for the next art project I have. So the letters, they're not perfect, but they're crispy and it's beautiful and I really love it. So when I planned out this project, I had planned out to make each letter in painter's tape and then paint over it and take the letters out and everything would be crisped and every letter would be identical in size and all that. But no, I had to go freestyle and that's fine. I am so happy about the result of this one. I hope the birds are not bothering you. It's bothering me. So I had originally thought that I wanted food in this, but this had laundry powder in it. And I feel like it still smells like clean clothes. I feel like I don't want to eat anything that comes from being stored in this. That cannot be healthy. That is definitely violating the health code, but that's okay. It is just decoration now. A fun memory of the most insane episode of American Dad that I have ever seen, and also the most fun. It was really one of the greater. Now I hope to make something really weird next week. Something with a saw, something with wood. I think it's gonna be great. So stay tuned because it's gonna be wild if I get my mind set to what I want to do. Here is some before and after shots that I hope you enjoy because this was a fun project. I love creating some little things that I have seen in a show or a movie. I mean, one day our home will be filled with fandom-based things. I mean, it's slowly filling up. And I love that my husband is also supportive of that. He doesn't just want a place to live, he wants a place to call home. We're making it home.